Welcome to the Porn Reboot podcast, where you get practical tips to gaining control over your porn or sex addiction. We help ambitious men end their out-of-control sexual behavior with pornography, sex, and masturbation so that you can maximize your life, perform at your potential, and remain in control in the driver's seat, which is where you have to be in order to gain or maintain the success you want in life. I'm your host, J.K. Emezi, certified sex and porn addiction recovery coach. Welcome to the episode.
Brother, today we're going to be talking about personal growth and development and the different stages of your reboots. This is a continuation of the series that I've been doing over the past couple of weeks. I've gotten some great emails from brothers who've been enjoying it. And please, if you've enjoyed it and if you'd like to share, send an email to jkemezi@elevatedrecovery.org. In the subject line, just put podcast. I always open those and read your feedback. Sometimes I'll even have back and forths, right? This isn't about you joining my program or anything. I just really like to have back and forth conversations with guys about very unique topics. And really the topic of your growth, your ambition, your success, your wealth, and how you can move that forward as you go through the different stages of ending your compulsive behavior. Nobody else is doing that. It's very unique. And so you guys' feedback on whether it's helpful or not, or whether you can identify with it, is greatly appreciated. I really appreciate you guys for listening to this, particularly this series. So let's get into it. Now, this particular episode is for those of you who are success-minded. Regardless of your net worth, regardless of where you are in different areas of your reboot capital, you know that you're going to make it. But for some reason, you've stagnated. Maybe you're making $150K a year. Maybe you're making $300K a year. Maybe you're making $75K a year. Maybe you have a beautiful partner. You have a wife. You have kids. You're living in that home. You're working towards it. But you know that you're just not growing at the pace that you should. And this isn't just about like, oh, I'm going through a season of investing. You've been in this season for damn long. Some of you have been in this season since COVID. You're like, yeah, right after COVID, there was a little bit of a boost. But bro, I've been here for like 4 years and I'm getting a little bit concerned. I'm getting concerned because I want so much more for my life. And I don't know how to break through. You no longer are experiencing that dopamine rush that comes from winning and growing. Your business and your job is stagnating. And you're now concerned. In fact, you're starting to get distracted. You're starting to look at other opportunities. You're starting to get worried about the economy. If you're that guy, particularly those of you who are in your late 20s through your late 30s, and you feel that fear, you're just like, man, I just don't know what the heck is going on. This is important. First of all, let me relate it back to your reboot. What does this have to do with your compulsive behavior? It has everything to do with it because you are medicating some sort of issue, strong emotion, a stress, some unresolved issue, loneliness, some intimacy issue, and whatever your major pain is in your life right now, the longer it goes unaddressed, the more likely you are to use pornography to medicate it. We have a lot of business owners, a lot of entrepreneurs in the intensive program, and many of them end up medicating their stress or their major issue in business with pornography. In the middle of the day, when they're super stressed out about closing a deal, or super stressed out about losing an employee, or stressed out about a contract coming through or not coming through, something wrong with their P&L, their finances, pornography becomes the thing that they use to deal with that when they get distracted. They start jumping around all over Facebook, social media. They start browsing. They're running away from the problem. And here's the thing. The reason why a lot of successful guys do not reach out and seek help for their out-of-control behavior is because there are very few coaches, therapists, and professionals who can actually relate to their problem. When you're speaking to a therapist and that therapist does not understand that at this stage of your growth, your ego is closely tied to your financial success, to your career, to whether you are able to care for your family or not, like if they cannot actually relate to it, something is going to be missing. So you're going to listen to them, you're going to apply things, but you're just like, dude or lady, you don't understand the pressures that I'm dealing with. You don't understand how many plates I am spinning right now. You don't understand that I am risking everything every day, and I could lose it all. And it took me years to build myself up to where I am in this career. And that's the reason why a lot of business owners, a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of high-level professionals will just not apply the systems that are given to them. And that's the difference with the intensive program. You show up to a place where not only are you surrounded by other professionals who are dealing with the same stress, but I myself and the Reboot heroes and the Reboot leaders in this group are also under that pressure. So it is connected to out of control behavior. So here's how you break out of that stagnation. So it's actually a 4-step process when it comes to your personal growth and development. 4 steps to actually leveling up and knowing for certain that in your career or in any area of your Reboot capital, let's say even in your relationship, that you've stepped into another level. Those 4 stages are commitment, courage, capability, and confidence. And the way it works is before you can level up, let's use something as an example. Let's say starting a business, okay? So let's say you want to start a new business or you want to start investing in real estate. I invest in real estate, and it took me a long time to actually invest because I was so busy with my other ventures. When I finally decided to, the first thing I had to do was make a commitment. Commitments means doing the thing you say you're going to do long after the emotion when you originally made the decision has passed. That's commitment. And let's be clear about one thing. If you're dealing with an out-of-control sexual behavior, it is unlikely that you are as committed as you think you are. Again, doing the thing you said you were going to do long after the emotion when you originally made it has passed. Some men are like, oh no, I'm committed in some areas of my life. It has to be important for me to be committed. No, commitment is either a part of your character or it is not. It is not something that you apply in some areas of your life. Many guys really think they do because they work hard and they push themselves in different areas. They're like, I still don't feel like doing it. But if you were truly committed, you would not be plateauing right now. You would have gotten through it already. But when you hear the rest of the process, all of this will make sense. The first thing is you commit. The moment you commit and you know you're going to do it, you're going to develop courage. Sometimes you have to take an extra step in order to commit. So in my case, I took out a bunch of cash and I talked to one of my partners and I was like, dude, let's go ahead and do this. I heard you had a deal. Is it still available? He's like, yes. How do you want to come in? And it was a big deal. And I was like, screw it. I'm going to play big. So I was like, let me just come in at 50%. He's like, bro, but like, that means do you want me to just drop the other investors into the project and it's just you and my company? And I was like, yeah, let's do that. I just want it to be you and me. I don't want any other investors so that when the payout comes out month to month, I know I'm making a good return. He was like, you sure? It's like, let's do it. So we went ahead and we did that. That deal turned out to be such a big deal that I became a partner in their company just because of the size of the real estate deal. So that was the commitment part. But the moment I committed and I had sent the money, I now had courage. And courage is like doing something even when you're afraid of doing it, in spite of the fear. So the moment I went through the entire rigorous process of closing that deal, and I came out on the other side, and I received that first check a few months later of passive income, then I had the third thing, which was capability. I knew that I could do this, and I only needed to do it once to know that I could do it. And right after that, once I had the capability, behind that capability came confidence. An area, now let's roll it back. This was an area where I had no confidence, no idea how to grow, and I have been stuck year after year, reading books, talking to different people, never pulling the trigger on anything. But the moment I made a commitment when something was in front of me, I didn't think, maybe this is a scam. Maybe this is, what if I lose money? All those bitch thoughts. Come on, if you've researched something for so many years and you're not ready to risk it, understand this. You're getting older, and the older you get, brother, the more risk averse you're going to be. That's another thing I see, especially those brothers in their mid-30s. You don't even know you're getting risk averse because all you're looking at is, oh my God, from 27 to 35, I was grinding. I don't want to lose any of the things I have right now. I'd have to start over and I'd be in my all those things are one of many things that are keeping you stuck where you're at. So again, commitment, courage, capability, and then I had the confidence. Now let's break it down into different stages of your reboot. First of all, in the early stage of your reboot, you will find yourself procrastinating. And the reason why you're procrastinating to take action in that area where you need to grow in your life is because you lack the necessary capability and confidence. We see it with men in our dating reboot program. They have controlled their behavior with pornography, but they're afraid to move forward. They don't know how to. They're just like, I don't know if I can date a beautiful, attractive woman. I don't know if I can be intimate with her. I don't think I have the confidence to go right up to a woman I find attractive and have a conversation with her and tell her I find her attractive and get her number and invite her out on a date. They don't have any of those things. But here's the problem. They are not willing to commit in the first place. They don't know about the commitment piece. Now, they might know that they need courage, but they don't understand that even in that area of their life, they need to take some sort of action which leads to commitment. So early reboot stage, if you look at almost every area of your personal development, you will notice that you are simply procrastinating. Even if you are super confused, overwhelmed, don't know if you have the money, don't know if you have the time, don't know if you even know where to go, you are still procrastinating. Think about it for just one moment. Okay, is JK right? Like, where is it in my life right now that I feel stuck? Where is it that I feel like I don't have enough time? I don't have this. Procrastination. Now, when you get to the middle stage of your reboot, what I've noticed with a lot of clients is that there is a tendency for men in the middle stage of their reboot to hold on to their existing achievements for as long as possible. Oh boy, this is so devastating. It's insidiously devastating. You are still talking about, or even worse, you're not talking about it. If you were talking about it, at least somebody could call you out on it, right? Maybe there's a chance someone would be like, hey, but bro, that happened years ago. Some of you are still holding on to it in your head, past achievements. Wow. You know, one of the tests I have for guys is when I ask a guy who's in his 30s or his 40s, when the best decade of his life was, or when the best few years of his life were, and he tells me it's his college days, or the few years right after college, I know that guy is not going anywhere far unless he changes his behavior and his mindset. If you are holding on to any existing achievements from your past, it's time to let it go. You have to let it go in order to grow. I don't care if it is, oh, I built my business to X revenue. Oh, I'm with this beautiful woman. Oh, I used to date this hottie who was an amazing woman. Oh, I've even seen guys talk about, I'm a homeowner. Bro, you've been a homeowner for 7 years. It's an achievement. It was probably really hard, maybe unusually hard for you to accomplish something like that. In fact, whatever it is you're holding on to, maybe you're the first person in your family to have ever done so, the first person in your community. Maybe everybody in your life told you that you could not accomplish that, and you've accomplished that. But are you still holding on to it? I see it a lot in the middle stage of a man's reboot. And it's also devastating because the middle stage of your reboot is the longest stage of your reboot. Now, one of the things I see in the later stages of one's reboot when it comes to personal development and growth is I see a lot of men focusing on safety and security. Safety, security, and comfort. That's the last one. So there's no more growing. It's more of things are hard. I've hit a plateau. I don't know if I can go to the next level. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on getting more insurance. I'm going to focus on maybe cutting costs here and there in my life or in my business. I'm going to make sure that, you'll see guys, like if we take the financial example, you'll see guys who wanted to, let's say, maybe move to a nicer neighborhood. I'm using the financial quite a bit because those are the type of guys I've been working with a lot more lately. And those are the sort of conversations we've been having lately, honestly, because of the state of the economy. If you guys want me to put out a podcast on my thoughts on that, shoot me an email. I'll be happy to do so. But they were looking to move to a bigger home because their family is growing, or move to a different state for tax purposes. But because you've been stuck at this plateau for so long, you get so comfortable that you start doing shit like remodeling your house, remodeling your kitchen. You're trying to be safe. You're trying to be secure. And you don't realize that you are beginning the process of retreating. If you are not growing and you are sitting there just trying to build walls around you to protect yourself, you're fearful that you're going to lose it. You are exhausted and you run out of stamina and belief that you're actually going to grow, then you start playing safe. It is dangerous to play safe, because if the economy were to change, if you were to go through a divorce, I see this a lot. I've seen guys who play safe and then their relationship that they thought was going to last forever collapses for whatever reason. They end up losing everything. And even if you don't end up losing everything, you've been playing so safe that the little chunk that is rocked from the divorce or the separation is going to set you back. Even the stress that you have to deal with. This is not just to be clear, this is not just like divorce and the economy. It could even be a health issue. A health issue happens to you or to your loved one. You have to take time off work to focus on taking care of that loved one. Everything falls apart. Gentlemen, understand that you have to grow and grow and grow till you have everything that you want in excess. That's why it is referred to as capital. If you are starting a business, like Reboot Capital, that's what I mean. If you are starting a business, you want to ensure that you have enough capital starting off to weather all the storms till your business is profitable. That is why I called it Reboot Capital. You want to have more than enough mental resources to be resilient if something were to happen to you. You want to have more than enough boundaries. You want to have more than enough accountability. You want to have more than enough insurance. You want to have more than enough savings, more than enough investments. So much so that you can weather whatever is necessary. Remember, when you are coming out of an out-of-control behavior, you are operating at a deficit. You have lost multiple things. So that is the reason why I push guys to grow and take more than they need, so that when the time comes and stuff starts getting depleted, you don't fall apart. But again, this sort of being more striving for safety, security, and comfort is noticed more in the late stage of one's reboots, mainly because a lot of men at that stage have gained a little bit of control. They've made progress in their reboot. They've often made a lot of progress in multiple areas of their life as they go through the reboot. But there's some fear because they've accomplished something with controlling the out-of-control behavior, and simultaneously, they've accomplished some other things in different areas of Reboot's capital. Finally, in the maintenance stage of one's reboots, there is actually more risk-taking. Sometimes as men transition from the late stage into the maintenance stage, you'll notice while there is that, what's the word for it, that push for comfort and safety, for a lot of men, it doesn't last long, especially if they're in the right community and surrounded by the right people. This is very important. If you're in the late stage and let's say you're still hanging out with people who maybe went through your reboot with you or were your friends and they are not growth-minded, you're likely to just stay safe. But if you are surrounded or you find new friends, new accountability partners who are constantly growing, you're likely to begin to push through. And I actively encourage men to switch out accountability partners later on, or, if you have a good relationship with them, bring in more men to your life. Find new circles of men where everyone is growth-minded. I shared a picture on Facebook the other day of the guys that I've been friends with, and we are just incredibly growth-minded. I don't even know how I ended up with a group of friends. Well, actually, I do know because somebody asked me how I did it, and I realized how it was done. But in the maintenance stage, you're constantly growing by consciously applying commitment, courage, capability, and confidence to your life. You're always doing it. You make a commitment, And then you realize, oh shit, like we're all in. We got to move forward. And remember, your commitment has to include skin in the game, right? I'll give you guys a personal and professional example. Andrew McCormick is a friend of mine and a business partner of mine. And I invited him to teach a few sessions in the Dating Reboot program. Many years ago, he was a wonderful dating coach. He had invested heavily into his life. Then he took a hiatus to build up his businesses. So he did that, became very successful. We partnered in the process. And then he went back into the dating coaching thing because he realizes how old is he? He's 37, 38 years old now. He realizes that this new generation of men, they just don't know how to navigate the dating world today. So many things have changed in our culture. Women have more earning power than men. Women have more choices and have been exposed to higher value men. By higher value, it's just what you see on Instagram. Women, beautiful women, are getting DM'd by very wealthy guys. It's become globalized. The expectations of wealth have become ridiculous. So the average quote unquote guy feels under a lot of pressure. Like he's just not sure how he's going to make it in this economy, in this world where the traditional values are no longer honored and all a man is looked at as some sort of temporary provider. With the divorce rates and the fact that not many relationships last as long as they used to, what's a man supposed to do? All these things are very confusing. And so Andrew decided to go back into dating coaching. And, when he told me about it, I was like, dude, I have a Dating Reboot program and the men who come through my program are dealing with the same thing. Do you want to link up and do something? So he's like, you know what, let me show up and see what I can do and feel you guys out and see what's up. So we did that. And we followed this exact process. Andrew committed, and I made a commitment to trust him. He came in, he put his system out there, and we got a very positive response from the brothers in the Dating Reboot program. As a result, our collective capability went up because the more we did this, the more we realized that, oh my God, we can actually put together something that is very unique. And for us, something that's very unique is ethical and authentic dating and interacting with women in today's world, where so many things are fake and exaggerated and overly sexualized. How do you become a man that is successful, that is vulnerable, that is fearless, like you are ready to speak your mind and walk away from any woman, and finally that is unattached to the outcome? And I just realized, boom, we've got it. We were just having a conversation this Saturday after one of the group sessions. So now we have what? We have the confidence that we can create something. That's an example of how it works. So, gentlemen, quick summary. Personal development and personal growth and the different stages of your reboots. You need 4 things: commitment, courage, capability, and confidence. Take those 4 C's and apply it to your life in any area where you are stagnating. And I guarantee you're going to break through that plateau. And I just remembered, since I was talking about Andrew, shameless plug, that the Dating Reboot program, if you want to kind of like test out Andrew did a series on the art of the approach, which covers attracting a woman, opening up the conversation, building comfort with this woman, and finally closing. And by closing, it doesn't mean like a sales close. It actually means ending the interaction with something that is mutually beneficial to both of you guys. It could be a date, it could be a relationship, and this can be done in a small time frame or a long time frame, depending on where you are in your reboot or what you're looking for from an interaction. So if you want to check that out, I highly recommend you check out our Dating Reboot program, or you check out one of our workshops that are available. I'll leave a link to it in the description below this podcast episode. But in the next episode, we'll be continuing this series on stages of your reboot. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to me today.
I'm JK, your brother in this struggle. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Porn Reboot podcast. I'll speak to you later on in the week. If you found this episode helpful, here are 4 ways I can help you with your out of control sexual behavior for free. The first way is to grab a free copy of my book, Confessions of a Porn Addict, 7 Secrets of Porn-Free Men at elevatedrecovery.org, or visit the link in the description below this episode. The second way is, if you're not sure where to start, but you'd like to learn more about my team and I, if you'd like to spend time with like-minded professionals and business owners who are controlling their behavior, then join our free and confidential group, the Porn Reboot Group on Facebook. There's a link to join in the description below this episode. The third way is if you need help right now because you have a burning issue, your behavior with pornography is hurting you mentally or emotionally, you're about to lose your relationship, you want to live up to your potential, be an authentic man, and free yourself from shame, guilt, and underachieving, then click on the link in the description below this episode that says free coaching call. And the fourth way is to leave us a 5-star review if you enjoy this podcast, so that we can reach more men who are struggling in silence and bring back the lessons we learn from coaching them to freedom.